Hello.
All right. Thanks for being here, Mark, with OpGov.News. My name is Sarah Denos, and we are here today to talk about you going for District 7 City Council. So
Yeah. Thank,
please go
thank
ahead.
you. Thank you for interviewing me in this opportunity, and welcome to my home.
Great. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah.
First, let's start off. Let's get to know you a little bit.
Okay.
Let's talk about what inspired you to run for City Council.
Yeah. So I've always thought about politics, and my background is working for the government. I've been a city attorney, deputy city attorney, general counsel for lots of special districts, including cemetery districts. But what really pushed me into entering this race was the death of my daughter, and more specifically was her burial, and me realizing that Sacramento is about to run out of affordable um, burial options, burial space. And I thought, because I love being able to go to see her, and I know a lot of people do, not everyone's into cemeteries, but I think it's very important. So I decided to use her passing. One of the things I could take from it was to see if I could help other people by making sure this city starts planning for affordable burial spaces. And then what happened was the city council, our current city council, basically ignored me for over a year. I've been in front of city council in LAFCO trying to get them to just start planning for this. And they've just basically pushed it aside. So that was kind of the beginning of my reasoning for going for city council, and then realizing I can do better. I can do better than what we have, and we deserve better.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's the key to it.
Yeah, and I noticed you've already even put a lot of thought into this, like where something like that could even go.
Yes.
Yeah.
So because I've worked for government before, I realize sometimes you have to do the work for them to get things moving. So since I've been in the business before of other representing cemetery districts, there was a architectural firm that offered their services for free, and we came up with a vision, so I could have a vision for city council and for the public to see. Now, to get a cemetery, you really want at least 30 acres. Okay. And it's got to be pretty much flat. You need a water supply. And what jumped out right away was the 102 acres that the city owns off of Meadowview.
Right.
And it was just, it's right near the water recycling facility down there. So we could actually use recycled water for this cemetery. It's got vernal pools in there that we can incorporate, because cemeteries are really parks. They're considered open space. They're beautiful to walk through. So yes, I realized the 102 acres or part of it would be perfect for a public cemetery. I've created the plans and vision for it. I've provided it to LAFCO and City Council, and I'm trying to do as much work for the city as possible to get this moving.
Right. And I know that they recently go out for public comment on that 102 acre site as well?
Yeah, well, they've done a couple of outreachers for sure. And then the last thing that happened was like a request for information. So it wasn't a request for proposal. The city pitched it, and my Vang's office, since it's in her district, pitched it as, please provide us somewhat of a plan of what they think that could go in there. And because of some of the constraints, mostly that it's landlocked, only 2 developers put in a plan. One other person put in a plan for tennis courts.
Okay.
And that's all that came out of that. So there's nothing that I've been told definitive. My understanding is maybe the mayor and city council just wants to just put it all towards housing. But it is a unique piece of property that we can use for multiple public
absolutely.
Public needs.
And I believe I did hear in the past that a lot of people did want to have some more multiple use out of that property. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if we could put it on here. I'll give you a copy of a small copy, and I'm going to go straight to really the heart of this, which was this layout, this vision, since we're talking about it. And you can see what we really did, this architect and I looked at all the comments that the community has been putting in, and we said, let's give them everything. Yeah. So this vision is, half of it is a memorial park. Then you've got sports fields in there, and then you also have affordable housing in there. So that was the idea: is how can the city say no, really, if the plan incorporates everything that the community wants.
Right. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I also you were speaking to me earlier, and you were talking about how you would drive around and you would see people trying to raise funds just to have funeral services or burial
Yes.
services and stuff. Can you speak a little bit more about that? And
Of course. Because this is so personal for me, and I understand, grief. I will never not be grieving. People that lost loved ones know this. Um, it really bothers me. Like it physically bothers me when I see families and children with cans on the corner trying to raise money for funerals.
mm-hmm.
It's happened several times since I've been living in Southland Park, especially in the corner of um, Franklin and Fruit Ridge, and even out in front of the Home Depot in Meadowview. There have been children and families asking for money. Just recently, I think in this city has been another family using GoFundMe
Oh yeah, that's
to
pretty
raise
common.
money for burials. And I don't want to. What are we doing? What does that
Mm-hmm.
say about our society when people are begging for money for burials?
Yeah.
It disturbs me.
Right. I
Yeah.
hear you.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for that.
Yeah.
Is there any other? So what else are you running? Like, what are your other ideas that you want improvement with that it kind of also inspired you to go ahead and
Yeah.
run?
Thanks for the question.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's a softball.
I know there's more.
Yeah, of course there is. Safe routes to schools. On this street alone that I live on, we have an elementary school at the end of the street, and this jumped out at me as soon as I moved in here. The sidewalks stop halfway down the street. And in the morning and afternoon, during pickup and drop off, there is children and parents in the middle of the street to get around the parked cars because there's no sidewalk to get to school. There's 3 elementary schools in this district alone that have that problem.
Oh wow.
So what are we waiting for? For a child to get hit or killed? No, thank you. Let's build this infrastructure to finish what we really should have done a long time ago, is make safe routes to schools.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the city council, as part of the Vision Zero, has a spot that says safe routes to schools.
Right.
They're just not funding it.
Mm.
So, and this is one of my other reasons for running, besides responsiveness from city council, is our city council starts things but doesn't really finish them. They have a little bit of a problem of follow through, and hopefully I could change that. But we'll see, hopefully. And one of them is funding for things that we realize is a problem. Mm-hmm. And I would fund sidewalks in front of schools before some of these other infrastructure projects that are great, but let's face it, we shouldn't wait for a kid to be killed to say, now it's dangerous, so let's now fix it.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And I can assume too that if that's a situation or a concern in front of schools, there's those issues in other places too. And we got to worry about like ADA responsibilities, American Disability Act, and
Mm-hmm.
people who can't, like, they depend on those sidewalks and stuff to be able to walk safely.
Absolutely.
Or
Well, it's funny, they redid the intersection right in front of the school here. So there is ADA, the intersection itself is ADA, it's great, but then it just stops. There's no sidewalk to complete it. So that's one of the other things. And the third thing that I've been telling people as I walk around, more in the public safety, is why don't we have park rangers in our parks? Land Park is a jewel. It's amazing. We have thousands of people there every weekend, and not a single public safety officer to be found. And we know we've had issues over the past with noise and congestion. Mr. Jennings' current idea that he's been pitching is to close off some of the streets to parking to make it pedestrian only. But that's just going to exacerbate the parking problem. It's going to push it out to the side streets and the homeowners. It's going to make it less accessible, actually, where the solution is simply just put some park rangers in on weekends.
Right. Yeah. Well, that of course would be something that they would have to fund as well, those positions.
Yeah, I get it. I know. And the other little part is the bike trail. I'm a big bicycle guy. I'm on team and training right now to raise money for the Leukemia Lymphoma Society. And I want my chance to get that levee trail opened up through Pocket.
Yeah. Okay. And I know that Scott Lau has talked about the Greenhaven Bike Trail as well.
Mm-hmm.
And he criticized the cycle of studies that delays it. Let me ask you about your approach to the budget cut through. How would you cut through the bureaucratic red tape to deliver tangible results faster?
This is not easy.
Sorry, that was so
I know.
scripted.
Yeah, yeah. Well, certainly we need to. I'm not even a developer. I'm just a homeowner, and to get a permit, it's ridiculous to get a permit. You have to get a permit just to change out a light switch.
Yeah, that's true.
The way it's automation, do it so we don't have to go in person. Allow have basically the planning staff and economic development be able to accept not perfect plans for things. Work with us, really, is what it is. It's work with us, have an online system so you could file things and get responses faster. Streamlining is the way to do it. Council members are not allowed to individually direct any staff member. And we work as a group. So what we can do as a council is to tell the city manager to please focus on streamlining to make it better for residents and developers and everybody, to get rid of some of the red tape. One of the things that I noticed is back to parks. There's no online reservation system. So it says, well, if you're going to have music or a bounce house in a park, you're supposed to get a permit.
Right. Okay.
There's no online option to get a permit.
Oh, wow.
If you're going to have more than 50 people, you need a permit. You got to submit it either in writing or in person. I don't. If you want to play ball and want to reserve a baseball field, there's no online system to go which parks are open or not. So I think we're a little bit behind in the automation, and hopefully that is what would cut red tape.
Yeah, it sounds like a very busy family would have to somehow take off of work
right.
to go and put in for a permit so they could have a birthday party in that park with a bounce.
Well, what happens is they just don't.
Yeah.
Guess what? There's no enforcement. There's no park rangers out there. So you literally could go out there. It's just like parking sometimes downtown. I know city, as part of their budget reconciliation, is to get rid of the open vacancies for parking. Well, just more people are just going to now stop paying the meters if they know there's nobody out there checking.
Yeah.
And in the parks, there's literally nobody checking for any of this. So nobody's, we're losing money, but also nobody's checking. So nobody bothers.
Yeah, no. And speaking of parks.
Yes.
So we do know that there is quite a homeless, I don't know if I want to say homeless crisis, but there's a homeless issue, especially in Sacramento. And a lot of the homeless, they gravitate towards parks. So yeah, you're talking about the park safety and stuff, and having people there to look over the park and police it, I guess, or what is your take, though, for your district as far as the homeless issue? Do you see a lot of that here? Are there any ideas you have to help with that whole issue of homelessness?
Okay, that's a big one.
Yeah.
You just threw homelessness on the table. Awesome. Of course we have it. Every part of the city has it. We have it differently, right? So we don't have large vacant parcels here. But we do have the levee and the river. We do have parks here. So we see a lot of unhoused going through our area and then kind of hiding in these little areas.
Right.
Basically living in these little areas. Okay, the big picture, I don't have anything new to bring to the homelessness table. There's a lot of people that have been discussing it. There's a lot of people that are probably even smarter than me and have an idea. What I want to do is just see follow through. So the mayor and the city council, along with hopefully the county, if they work with us more, have ideas. So when I come on, I just want to see them through. We study so much, we put money towards studies, and then we don't see them through, just like the streets. So my idea is, let's see this through and let's see the effectiveness, and are we getting a return on investment for that? And then we could adjust from there. So that's my big answer on homelessness generally. For our district, I know one of the issues has been we have not identified, or Mr. Jennings have not identified, a spot for a shelter here. So the
okay.
mayor has asked, and the SACB highlighted this
Yeah.
in their so-called endorsement for Mr. Jennings, which was the mayor had asked every council member to identify a spot um, in their district.
Yeah.
So all the
Right.
districts can, have to share into fixing this problem, trying to. And Mr. Jennings has not come up with a location. Now, I get it because Curtis Park, Land Park, Pocket is pretty much built out. And the way we've been redistricted, we don't even have much of Freeport Boulevard, the areas that are kind of vacant, or you can buy some some of the warehouses that are there. That's not even in this district. It was cut out. So we are limited. So then we have to pivot a little bit and go, well, fine, we could do something, but is it a smaller idea? It might not be a micro community of 40, maybe it's a micro community of 10 or 20.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's the the cooling centers in the summer, and we have land for small projects. But it's really, what is it that the city's asking of this district, so we could find that piece. I do have some ideas. Certainly we have the small parcels. For the bigger ones, I have an idea, but I don't have access to talk to city staff to say, is it possible there?
Right.
Is it not? Once I'm on the council, I could do my job and try to find that location.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's back to let's have our park rangers, let's have our volunteer patrols on the bike trail. Everything else we can do to kind of identify and then try to get help for these people.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to talk about related to public safety? I mean, so there's also so the city is got to look for ways to make some budget cuts, and some of those programs that they have, so for example, they'll talk about cutting funding for SAC PD. But a lot of these programs, like even a SAC PD, they have specialized units that go out there and they help
Right.
with the homeless issue and stuff. So or even just the public safety in general. Is there anything where you're thinking about the budget and maybe some programs that are beneficial or wasteful, or
I don't.
Anything you'd want to create?
No, actually, right. What I want to create is just finish what we started.
Right.
It's not creation; it's work.
Yeah.
A work in progress. So, no, I don't want anybody to be cut. Programs should be cut before people get cut. And luckily, the city council this budget cycle is not trying to cut anybody. They're cutting vacancies, which you have to. Okay. The city has been doing well at reducing crime. I would like to see a better response. And again, until I'm in office and can talk to the police department and staff to know how they're doing it, there have been certain areas, especially right around the corner here, where certain strip malls get targeted.
Yes,
over
absolutely.
and over
Good
and
point.
over again.
Right.
And we have to do better in identifying it. In this case, not only there was 4 break-ins in the same location, both locations here, I think within a couple of months each other. So there was a failure there because we identified it because there's multiple break-ins, and still the police, it took forever for them to really come out there. And they never, from what I understand, never really searched for the cause, which is going to be there's certain individuals that have moved into the area that are doing that.
Right.
And to my understanding, there was no search for that solution. So there's a way to do there's room for improvement when these areas are getting targeted.
Yeah, absolutely.
And hopefully we have a program there. If not, that's something we could create.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I don't know.
Or even so, if these areas are getting targeted and the police are aware of it, and say they can't constantly be going there to monitor it, at least if they have the money to buy the equipment, like the surveillance equipment, to place it there,
Yes,
that's better than nothing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It absolutely is. And there's a balancing act here. How much is the police responsible versus the landlord? This is a commercial property, and we know sometimes landlords are difficult to work with. Why isn't the landlord increasing security,
Mm-hmm.
which they didn't over here. I know that because I've spoken to the business owners, and they were very frustrated with the owner of the property.
Right.
Actually, the shopping center has 3 different owners. So, but in any case, yes, like the identifying and then providing something, on our part
Mm-hmm.
to stop this.
Yeah. Have you spoken with any of the businesses in your community? Is there any other things that they've expressed concerns about?
Their main concern, yes, I have spoken to them. Their main concerns is the red tape to get something open. When a business wants to open up,
Yeah.
it takes them 8 months to open up, let's say, a boba tea place.
Mm-hmm.
Or, that shouldn't happen. Small
Right.
businesses can't afford to float 8 months waiting for permits to build their counter and waiting for a permit to then do the HVAC system. And then the other one is the transient, the homelessness that come through, the ones that are disrespectful, right?
Mm-hmm.
The ones
Right.
that are coming in and causing problems. That's their number one, number two,
Mm-hmm.
depending if they're just opening up or they've been in business.
Yeah, it seems like is there a lot of business? Well, is there a lot of businesses going out of business in your community?
Yeah. So District 7 has lots of small businesses. We don't have
Yeah.
any real big businesses here. At best, it's a moderate size business. And yes, you can see turnover. You
Mm-hmm.
can see vacant storefronts. So this district has part of Broadway, half of Broadway, and the street improvements have been great, but there's still plenty of just vacant storefronts on Broadway. And then just turnover mostly in some of these other smaller strip malls. In the pocket, there's still some vacancy in those malls over
Mm-hmm.
there. Did that answer your
Yeah,
question?
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just interested because I've noticed there, every neighborhood, they have like family businesses that have been around for like 20, 30
Yeah.
years. And I hear over and over again that they're like, it's hard to stay open these days. Like they don't feel like they're being supported by the city,
Right.
And they love the community, but, they're closing their doors because it's just getting less affordable, with inflation and theft.
Yeah.
People stealing from them and stuff. So
I mean, you kind of brought up, it's not just the government. It's not just our local government. Yeah, we can't control inflation.
right,
Right. Sorry,
right.
City Council can't do
Yeah.
that. The affordability issue, we can't dictate what a landlord should or should not charge for rent in a space. We can't control that, the consumer preferences is to buy most things online. We could do little programs, support your local businesses and so forth. But a lot of this is out of our control. So really, as a city council member, what is it that we can control? Again, we are in a balancing act with this budget. The most recent part was our fees, right? The city has increased fees for everything.
Everything. Yeah.
Now, some of it is because they need to recoup the cost. I get it. But it also has, that negative impact, such as really increasing parking fees for downtown makes less people go down there to park to go out.
Absolutely. I'm afraid to park in downtown. I just think I'm going to get a citation or something because I'm not sure where you're allowed to park anymore, pretty much.
Well, and it's just too expensive. So if you want to go out for dinner, but you have to pay $10 for parking, well, maybe not.
Yeah. When I go out to get my hair done, I go to Midtown.
Right.
For 4 hours, I have to pay like $30.
Yeah.
And that's just that's the meter.
I know.
Yeah.
They're supposed to do dynamic pricing would be better. When there's not many people out there, it costs way less.
I like that idea. That's
make
a great
it back
idea.
to $1 an hour so you could go get your
my
haircut.
vote.
Right. And then when 6 o'clock rolls around and all of a sudden, and then it's getting busy, then it goes up. And to some extent, we do have that. Staff has been given their way more leeway in pricing. But then again, we just also told them raise all the rates to balance the budget. Going back to your question of local businesses struggling, I feel for them. I could only, and other council members can only work on what is in our control. And then again, it's a balancing act, but we certainly see it and want to help them.
Right.
Yeah.
I did see one example where a council member, and I'll just speak generally,
Uh-huh.
but they were working with a business that had some fines,
Mm-hmm.
and that was like sinking the business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's tough too. We should be able to help. We can't do favoritism.
Mm-hmm.
Um, nobody, government should be favoring persons or getting special exemptions. Um, and then there are times where the business owner got themselves into that position and didn't necessarily do everything they could have to avoid the fine.
Mm-hmm.
So then how do you balance that? How do you sit there and go, business owners, some of this really is on you.
Right.
I
Yeah.
get it, the fines are sinking you, but some of this really is on you.
Yeah.
But there should be an opportunity, a way for the business owner to address that. And so when they go before the appeals, or appeals a process, these administrative law judges or whoever we're using at least have some leeway.
Mm-hmm.
But they're going to need guidance on that. Otherwise, it just seems like favoritism. But yes, we do need a way to offset when needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It can't just be black and white. Our society, and that's why everyone jokes about attorneys. They're like, oh, your answer is always maybe, or it's just maybe. And it's like, I'm paying you to give us a legal opinion, and your opinion is never yes or no. But then again, it's because our laws are not black and white, because
Right.
our society is not black and white. We have a complex society. And so that's why laws are drafted general rule, lots of exceptions. Mm-hmm. Because our society is complex. We need exceptions. There is no black and white to apply everywhere.
Right.
Anyway, I think that's what's unique about our law, is that the law is actually and can be flexible.
Right. And as far as the what you just said too, that's why you give consultations to people as well, because there's always those unique circumstances that you have to consider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's up to them to decide.
Right. All right. So I think there's one more topic I'd like to touch on it, and we did a little bit, but housing affordability. So you have a diverse community. You got seniors in your district. You have 30-year-olds trying to get out there. What's your take on housing affordability for District 7? Can I buy a house here? Can I keep my house if I'm a senior, Mark?
I don't know. Maybe. The legal answer, maybe. Right? Again, this goes back to what is it that we can or should be doing as a local government entity. Some people would say we should be able to dictate rent. I don't believe that. This, somebody's house, whether it's, they bought it as an investment or they inherited and now they're renting it out. It's not really our way the government's place to dictate the price of something. Now we have to tame that. It is government's role to make sure things don't get, there's no gouging, to keep things in the proper lane.
Right.
Because, capitalism at its extreme is very unequitable. So yes, I do like how we cap like the maximum somebody could raise a rent per year. That makes sense. That's within the government's role. And then if we want to create more, well, we can create programs such as loans for first-time buyers.
Right.
So the hardest, one of the hard things is getting that 10 to 20 grand to put down, or maybe even more.
Absolutely.
So what we could do is create our own program that loans money out so people could then, have the down payment to get into a home. We don't control interest rates. What are other things we can do? We're now limited on how we could actually build. The state just says high density gets to go, which is one way to get affordability. This district is hard to afford. So it's supporting the things that the government should be supporting and staying out of the way for the other things that we just can't, and just gets us in trouble for trying to do. So yes, controlling rent, but not dictating rent, that makes sense. Providing programs so people can get in, give them an option to get in, just like the public cemetery. it's competition to the private cemetery, but it's done so it's affordable.
Right.
We can ourselves build senior housing in Southern California. There is a lot of this senior housing is owned by the city and rented out. Up here we don't like to do that. We would rather have a developer build it and then or manage it. But we could create our own supply, low income or cost effective or affordable, and that's the other way we can control it.
Right.
Yeah. It's not easy.
Yeah,
Complex
no.
Society is complex.
I know that the city's talked about building up more micro communities and like multi-resident kind of places. But for somebody who just wants like a single family unit, like a house or something,
Right.
It's tough. It's
Right.
tough.
Well, the government tries to keep the economy in a certain lane, but it's not us. It's not for the government to really dictate the market. And a lot of people disagree with that because, but and I'm not. Some people might go, "Oh my God, Mark, you just now sound like a Republican or something like that." No. These are basic principles that go across the board. We do our best to try to assist, but we're not tyrannical. We can't dictate exactly what somebody should be charging unless it's our own property.
Well, what about the property taxes?
The people have spoken with Prop 13 and 218.
You see where I'm going here.
Yes. So the intent on all of that was absolutely great. Over time now, it's shown to really hinder our ability to provide services. Again, I represent a lot of special districts, and special districts are funded by property taxes and a fee for what their specific services, and that's it. And their property taxes used to be the main way to fund, and now it's only a minuscule part of how they do it. So then they have to make it up in fees that they're charging. And that's directly because of the policies over the past 30 years and how we deal with property tax. But the people have spoken, we have, so we got to work with it.
Yep. Right. All right. Well, thank you. Is there anything else you want to say? How do I find out more information about you?
Okay. So the website, I think we've got it right here. It's velasquezforsacramento.org. My Instagram, that's where I kind of post them, are pictures of me at the bike trail or by a school that's missing a sidewalk. Most recently, I posted my favorite local nonprofits that I like to support. And I'm out there, or my phone number's on my pamphlet and my website, just to get people to go out and vote. Okay. And look me up.
Great. And then next time I come out in your community, where can I find you? What's your favorite spot to hang out?
Venus Coffee Shop. Used to be Barrio. Venus Coffee Shop. You'll find me there a lot. Right next door, there's a little retro resale place my friend owns, Sparky's. Super fun.
Okay.
Otherwise, you'll see me on my bike, bicycle. You see me at the cemeteries. That's kind of where you'll see me right now.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, nice to see you. And
thank you so
I
much.
would love to have the opportunity to speak with you again in the future.
Anytime.
Yeah. Great.
Yep. And for all of you too, anytime.
Thanks
Thank
a
you
lot.
so much.
All right.